Sis to sis. Hi guys, this is our new YouTube channel. We're really new to this, so please bear with us. This is literally the first time we've ever done any sort of podcast, filmed, anything like that, put anything out. So, you know, this is our first time. Our name for our YouTube channel is Sis to Sis, which is SIS to SIS. So check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and if you like our channel after you've seen what we're all about, you can like, share, and subscribe and press the notification bell. Okay guys, so my name is Tanya. I am the biggest one of the sis, so I'm 40 something. Some people call me Tan, my family call me, and this is my little sis.
Hi guys, I'm Charlene, but most people call me Charlie. I prefer for you to call me Charlie. Either way, I don't mind. I am 40, happy to be that number. New chapter, new era. I'm sure a lot of you lot can relate to that. Kind of hitting a big milestone in life and kind of changing perspectives and mindsets and everything like that.
I call her Shook, by the way, so if you hear me call her Shook, that's what I've called her since the day she arrived on this earth, so don't mind me. Other people call her Charlie. Her pet name to me is Shook, so...
You don't want to know a couple of my pet names for her, but we'll leave that for...
Don't.
Yeah. But I have 3 children. My eldest is 17, currently about to go into her second year of college. My second child is 13, about to go into year 9 of high school. And my youngest is 10 years old, about to go into year 6 of primary school. So yeah, as a mum, I am kind of at different stages with my children, but loving every moment of it.
I too have 2 children and a stepson. My eldest is 25. Yeah, I know I don't look it, guys, sorry. But my eldest is 25. She's married. Her husband and her live quite a bit away. My son's still at home with me and he's going to college. He's almost 18. I know I don't look it. I'm sorry, guys. So anyway, our channel is going to be covering just a wide range of things. It's going to be led by us, but obviously as the weeks go on, as podcasts, we get deeper and you like and you comment, we'll know what you'd like us to put out. So we're going to be covering, you know, a general range of topics. We're going to be covering relationships, sisterhood, friendships,
womanhood, love,
all
languages,
the hoods, basically.
Yeah.
Love languages,
health,
some of the things we go through on a day-to-day basis,
yep.
Work-life balance, well-being, meditation, and we just thought today could be a really nice introduction to who we are. And some of you may know us already. I mean, we've lived in many different places. We've been to schools in many different areas. So some people might know us and know us combined or know us separately.
We would just like to point out that any of the advice that we offer or any of the things we talk about are not professional opinions. They are personal perspectives. You are free to take our advice, to implement some of the sort of self-care routines that we do, and hopefully it will yield sort of similar or the same results that we have found. But we are in no way, shape or form offering you professional advice. Again, you are free to take our advice and see if it works for you, but by all means, please do not quote us and please do not label us as people who are offering professional advice.
No, disclaimer, if you don't like what we say, there's loads of different videos on here. You can log off and log on to those, guys. You know, we want to know that you like what we say and we're doing, but at the same time, it's our opinion. If you don't like it, you can just move on. We hope you like it. So if you like, then you know what to do.
Definitely. One thing we'd also like to say is when we do offer sort of any sort of relationship or love advice, we are both in relationships, long-term relationships. We've had ups and downs prior to being in these long-term relationships, obviously, and no relationship comes without its own issues, ups and downs. So when we are talking about relationship issues, we are most definitely talking from an authentic and organic place.
Yeah, our perspective is our perspective,
basically,
and we both have different experiences. We both have been in relationships with different levels of time, and we bring different things to that. We both have friends and relatives who also we've experienced through their eyes different relationships. So we bring a whole wealth of knowledge, and we just like to share that because we want to put out just our experiences really. And if we can help some people, if we can just start a discussion between people, that's what we're out here for.
Yes.
We're not trying to be gurus of any type, any form, any shape. We just want to be out here sharing our experiences, and hopefully we can connect with people,
raising energy, raising vibrations, sharing the love,
lifting up queens,
literally just raising children and raising vibrations.
So we thought, I think the best topic to start on is everyone's been checking in with everybody else. During this time, we've had the pandemic, you know, we've had all this scare and fear and all the rest of it. And it's been a hard situation to be in. Both me and my sister, we live a few minutes away from each other. So luckily, we've had each other throughout this, but on the same level, we've had our mum who lives a bit further away, and we've had to make all kinds of special arrangements to see her and kick in. So it's really important for you to check in with your peeps through this time, and we're just showing you what we've been doing and just going to talk a little bit about how we've coped with this whole situation. You know, we were going to work doing our thing, as you all were, and then, you know, the whole place got shut down. We weren't allowed to move, the children weren't allowed to move. So, you know, from your perspective, how did you cope with that, sis? Like,
I would say it was a bit of a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a bit of an open-minded person, but I think being a mum of three, especially my youngest, it was almost trying to shield sort of the worst information that was coming out and trying to focus on my children's emotional well-being.
Mm-hmm.
I think my lowest points were probably at the beginning. I probably did slightly, no critics, slightly buy into the panic buy.
Yeah.
But as a mum, you worry about where's my children's next meal going to come from.
Yeah.
No mother wants to look in their children's eyes and not know how they're going to get fed.
Definitely.
I think most mothers would be on the side
once,
of caution.
yeah, once you know you've got food in your house, your
exactly,
kids are
for the
warm.
next few days, you're
Yeah.
fine. I've got drinking water, I've got food, my kids are warm, we've got
Toilet
clothes,
tissue.
we're toilet tissue, we're okay. I think as long as you kind of had a few days worth of stuff in advance,
Yeah.
the panic was no longer there. But as
You do
a
what you
mum,
can. Yeah.
whether you can say mum, father, parent, you have that hunter-gathering instinct.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot sleep or settle well not knowing what you're going to do for your children in terms of eating, sleeping and all those things.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, we have a roof over our head, but I just needed to know that my children were going to eat. That kind of went out the window after a while, probably within the first few weeks or first week.
I think once we realised the shops were still going to be open,
Still open.
because you had no idea, like the shelves were
Literally,
bare.
I think if you
empty.
went by everything that the news was telling you, you would have bought up everything in the shop along like everybody else, and it would have been a waste of time, more or less, unless you had a severe disability or a family member who couldn't get out. Then obviously you had to kind of bulk buy in order to share amongst your other family members, like what we had to do with mum. Basically,
a lot of people were out shopping for other people, and there were a lot of vulnerable people who, you know, they would be in panics. I mean, I know for the first 2 weeks at least, once, you know, my school where I work had said they were closing down, and it was final, you know, there were no trains, and, you know, it was like ghost town out there. I think I watched the news for the first 2 weeks, like religiously at 5 o'clock, you know, thereabouts, whenever Boris wanted to walk through the door. I you know, listening to the updates every day, as you said, and just having that anxiety as 5 o'clock was coming, although, like, you know, my partner, my husband was still working at the time, so just me and my son at home mostly, but I kind of knew that time was approaching every day, even though we weren't watching time in the same way because we weren't working to a timetable. I just kind of knew that air was coming, because then once that broadcast had come out, people start texting, you get the Google feed on your phone, you know,
Facebook, bam, bam,
it was just like, you know what, I need to pause on this, I need to stop watching this thing, because whatever they're pushing out, people just are absorbing it, like they're just taking it on. And I felt myself doing the same thing, and I called you one night, didn't I? Like, people were other things were happening in this time of this whole pandemic. Like, people were still being ill, still passing away. People were still having mental illnesses that they suffer with. You know, people were still working, still trying to pay bills. So life was still happening when all this whole thing that we didn't even know if it's real, if it, you know, how superficial this is, how much we should be taking it on. Life was still happening. So there was one day where like I was getting phone call from friends and family, and I just felt so overwhelmed. And like, I've had panic attacks in the past, but I've worked my way through them, and I've stopped having them for a long time now. And this one day, I just felt this overwhelming panic set in, and it was like a doom. It was so unexplainable. And I literally said I phoned my sister the next day, and I said, I literally got my crystals, I got my amethyst, I got my rose quartz, and I literally went in my bed with them. Like, I charged up myself, like, and there was nothing I could do. I said to my husband, like, sorry babe, but you know, tonight I just have to do this. You know, I had a nice long bath, and I just went to bed with these crystals and just kind of put some music on, and just went to sleep. And the next day I felt much better, but that one day it just was like pow 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 pow. And I'm a person, I live with people, like, you're around the corner, I'm speaking to people. I can't imagine what people who are single parents or living by themselves, the elderly, what they were going through.
Even like our own mum, unfortunately, we lost our dad 5 years ago. So our mum is currently on her own, whereas we have our children, or at least our partner, or what have you, in and around us. It is very hard for someone who once had somebody, who now doesn't have anybody, who also has sort of own underlying health issues, which means sort of going shopping for herself and things like that is not even a possibility.
It's not possible.
So whereas
for the first few weeks you couldn't even get delivery.
So whereas we still can go shopping, even that is a social thing that our mum hasn't been able to do.
So if you go shopping with mum, she talks to everyone in the supermarket.
Everybody. So in a good way, it's probably good that she hasn't been out there, but for social reasons, the social contact, the sort of adult conversation, that whole thing bouncing off of somebody else's energy, when you don't have that and it's been so many weeks, obviously we speak to her on the phone and we message and we try and drop off the shopping when we can and things like that. But imagine those people who don't have
and like our mum's a physical person. Like, the most thing she longed for, like, we could find her green banana, we could find her like what she needed, her vitamins in this shop or that shop, but she just wanted a hug. Like, she literally just longed for a hug. She still hasn't had a proper hug till this day. Like, how many weeks later?
It was my birthday, my 40th birthday in March, the week of the lockdown announcement. And although we were able to just go out for dinner just before that, the last celebration we had, my mum was unable to come because of health issues, and my mum is still sort of a bit upset that she wasn't able to hug me, kiss me, spend my 40th birthday with me. As the person who actually turned 40, I'm absolutely fine with it, because I can sort of see and understand, and obviously I've had my children around me and everything, whereas my mum, who obviously gave birth to me 40 years ago, hasn't been able to celebrate the momentous occasion. And although it's my birthday, it's something that is a shared thing with the person that brings you into this world. It's such a huge milestone for her to see me get to this point. It's almost like it's upsetting for her.
Well, she feels like she's missing out. And watching all those videos of like children going to see their grandparents through the window. And then our mum's a person, she likes to be informed too. So she's Googling things, she's watching all the videos being shared, she's watching all the documentaries, she's like watching Matthew Wright, you know, in the morning. I don't think it's called Matthew Wright anymore, it's Jeremy Vine or something.
The Right Show.
So she's watching all these, like, you know, magazine shows and the news, and it's just like putting something in her, like, so she, the kind of place she got into is like a, this is never kind of end, kind of, instead of kind of jarring herself up, like, she gives her best advice. Like, she would tell anyone to, you know, try meditation.
Meditation is transcendental meditation. If I didn't say that properly, I'm sorry.
But so we do it, but actually her taking that advice on when you're already in a bad place, in a negative place, it's quite hard to push yourself to, like, propel yourself forward into a place where, especially if you're not around people who are like giving you this push. And so I said, like, we're able to do that. We've got young people around us providing that energy and sharing that energy, and we have to stay positive for them.
But that's also probably a reason for us actually taking this leap and doing this YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
because our mum gives the best advice. We have people around us that give advice. We've been around, whether it be people who offer relationship advice, healing advice, spiritual advice. But one thing that of late has probably become very apparent with sort of all the energy changes and everything that's going on is not everybody is practicing what they're preaching.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you can either see the results in yourself, or you can see the results in like sort of your nearest and dearest, i.e. yourself, with your anxiety and what you've done to implement that, you going to bed with crystals, you kind of want to share that, because it's not that now you're just telling people what to do. You want to share the experience. You want to share the feeling and the elevation.
It might not work for everyone.
Exactly.
But things that have worked for you, and to staying positive is the best thing you can do throughout this time.
Definitely.
Because in all this, there was like the whole George Floyd thing as well, which, you know, that's a whole nother show, to be fair. But we had to realise all the negativity that was putting out. Like, we see all the symbols, we see all the ulterior motives, we see all the propaganda. Like, we're blind to it. We're clued up in a certain way, it's, you know, to a limit, about the stuff that goes on.
And we actually have different beliefs, or we kind of...
Yeah, we look at things from a different standpoint, and we discuss those kind of things. But just us being able to say, do you know what? This whole blackout thing, this whole BLM movement, like what's the standpoint? Where are you going with this? But all that energy that was put out there, we had to battle it. Like, it was a spiritual, it is a spiritual warfare. Day to day is a spiritual
There were days when we almost felt like the whole energy had just been muted, and I came and saw you and you was like, nope, something isn't right. And then I came and tried to pour my sort of
it was like,
energy
turn
into
off the
you
telly,
and pull her back up.
No TV for the kids. We just put the music on, put your music on. And
Literally.
I was saying to my sister, like, okay, what tracks and what music has motivated you? What are you listening to? That, you know, because there was one night, I'm sorry guys, I didn't sleep. It was Beanie Man for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a clash, and that just got me like, you know what? Yeah, Jamaica. This is how we roll. You know, in times of adversity, we can still live it up. So, you know, I was speaking to my sister about what kind of things were lifting you up during this time. I think
during this whole time, one of the biggest things were realizing that you couldn't go out as much, out of the house, out of your home. I decided to kind of go in, i.e. self-care, self-love, meditation, trying to use the power of music to sort of transmute negative energy into positive energy through dancing through washing the dishes, dancing through cooking, pouring love into my family's food, and hopefully that radiates into them, dancing through the cleaning, dancing before I actually sit down to meditate. It's always for me about raising my vibration and releasing all the things I do not want in me as a being.
And doesn't she look good for it, guys? Like 40 years old. She's my little sister. So, and she looks amazing. So just there, we're going to go to our next show after this, because I think we're going to move on to vibrations, meditation and healing. And that will be our next video. So please like, share, subscribe.
Hit the notification bell.
That's it, you know what to do. So tune in for our next one. It's going to be about healing and meditation, self-love, self-care. Please come have a look. Bye.